So yeah, good morning. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. Going to do some US 30 scalping this morning. If it's something that you like to do, if you're trading, going to have a little bit of fun this morning. We're actually all over the inner tube. Got a couple of my buddies joining me this morning. We're going to jump on here and take a look at US 30. Typically, trading US 30, you can trade it anytime between, say, in my time zone, 7:30 a.m. till 9:30, depending on how long you want to sit in front of your computer. But primarily what we're going to do is we're going to talk about scalping. Also, coming April, starting April 2nd, I'm going to do a US 30 scalping boot camp, which is going to be deal. I'm going to have a site up for that. If you want to enroll in that boot camp, we'll be going live in a private group. We're going live 3 times a week and then doing a recap on Sunday evening. So if that's something that you would like to attend and it's stupid, crazy, affordable to get enrolled in that. So if it's something you want to come and hang out and participate, I'll have the link and stuff up a little bit later today, so you can go in and pay for some whopping $97 one-time fee to come and hang out with us and be part of the group. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me move that out the way for just a minute. There we go. So we're gonna jump. We'll jump right in here. We'll take a quick look at US 30 in a scalping mode. If you don't have experience trading, jumping right in and trying to trade US 30 will probably kick your butt. I'm just going to leave it at that. It'll probably kick your butt. So you've got to practice. Set goals, practice, get your mindset right. Set goals, practice, get your mindset right. You'll hear me say that a million times. And anybody that's talked to me anytime recently knows that I talk about practicing. You open up a demo account, you open up a practice account. You go enroll in an education platform with professional educators that can give you the basics, so you at least understand the basics and what a trend is and how to set a stop loss and how to set a take profit and all that kind of stuff, right? So unfortunately, in the trading industry, as we know, there are thousands of indicators and bots and this. What I've discovered most recently is I can outtrade a bot all day long, right? Somebody says they have a bot that's on auto and they're doing something. If it's working, great. I'm not gonna bash it if it's working, but I found that most bots can't outperform what I can do. And not saying that I'm that great. I've just practice, and I want to trust my own hands on the wheel rather than let a robot drive my car. So I'll just leave that at that. There's some nice indicators out there that I use that help me trade. Which I really appreciate having. So when those indicators are out there, I have no problem in using those at all. So if you ever have any questions about thinking about wanting to learn how to trade, I've been interested in learning how to trade, I want to jump on the trading bandwagon, reach out to me. My phone number should be scrolling across the bottom of the screen. We can talk about either getting you enrolled in class, or if you want to come and do some, jump into the US 30 scalping boot camp. And we're just going to dive deep. We're going to go in every single day, like I said, 3 times a week. Not sure which specific days. Most likely Tuesdays all the time for sure. But the other 2 days of the week, and then we'll go live on Sunday evenings to do the recap and get set up for the week and just keep everybody on track. So if that's something you're interested in, just reach out to me. Let me know. I'll have the link up so you can get it paid for. Again, that's going to start on April 2nd. And we'll run that through the end of the month, and it'll be a lot of fun. It should take you to your next level in terms of just overall trading in the things that we're going to talk about. So, and I want to share that with you. Had a really, really good month so far trading, just stupid, crazy good results. So pretty excited about that. And it took a while. It took 3 to 5 hours a week sitting in a class, going on about 2 years to figure out this stuff and make it work. So let's jump in here and take a look at the charts. And we got just a bunch of mess. I'm going to roll out to the dailies. Give me 1 second here. Scroll this out. I just got a lot of stuff going on. Let me clear some of the stuff out of my chart so it doesn't look so ugly. Give me 1 second. Yes, ma'am. All right, baby. Have a good day. Love you. Bye. All right. So let me clear some of this stuff off let's clear the pivots and let's clear the cloud for just a minute. Get that out of the way. We'll take a look at this and we'll do some screen share. And if you're currently watching this and you want to trade with us, jump on, open up your Trading View, open up your MetaTrader, however you execute your trades, get those bad boys all ready to go. This is Trading View. I have the paid version of Trading View. I've got a couple of zones set on here. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see them, but I've got a supply and demand zone set in here. And basically the way I do this, and it's my eyeballs on the chart looking at stuff. I went way out here, and I look for areas where price seems to always come back to, either on the top side or on the bottom side of where price typically comes back to. And you'll notice I've got this zone between this area here and this area here where price is going to do all kinds of stuff in this zone. And you can figure that out. There's guys that have exact points. I just did a rough estimate on mine. If I go out to my monthlies, and I may not be able to see it because it's a little too small. Let's go back to the dailies. I just want to show you why I chose those zones. Looking at these zones, I'm not sure if you can see these orange lines. I didn't go to the bottom, the lowest spot, and I didn't go to the very tip top. But what I did was I scrolled back through on the top zone and found where price seems to come to. And again, it came to here again. It came back to this area again. It came back up to this area again. It came back into this area again. It came way down here to this area, bounced off this area down here on the bottom side of my zone once, and then twice, and then 3 times, came back in this, and came way back up again to my zone on the top side, then came way back down to my zone here, popped up from that, came underneath again. And like I said, I didn't go to the bottom, but it did come back up to this zone. And guess where it went from here? Went back up to my top zone, came back in and sort of headed, hung around in here, came back up to the top zone again, came back up to the top zone again, came back up to the top zone again. And guess where it came down to most recently? Back down to my bottom zone. So that's how I chose that. I just went through and eyeballed where the majority of price seems to hit most of the time, both on the top side and the bottom side. That's how I created that zone. You can call them whatever you want to, supply and demand zones, whatever, right? That's just how I eyeballed those to give me a general idea on where US 30 is moving. Now, every pair that you're trading has some type of zone like that. Some people are really exacting, like, well, you got to go down to this candle, and fine. If that's how you want to trade, that's fine. But you'll look at this, just going back to October of 22 here, look at all of the price that stayed in the zone, right? For weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, price stayed in between these zones, right? So I could go back to the beginning of time when Moses was building the ark and look at price. May or may not have anything really to do with today, especially with all the kind of crazy stuff going on in the world. So anyway, that's how I do that. We can bring on the cloud just to get a general idea on where price is going. And you'll notice on this large time frame on the daily that I've got a large sell cloud out here, right? I'm currently in a buy cloud, but I've got a large sell cloud out here in the future. I can go to a lower time zone. Let's come down to the 4 hour, hit the refresh. I know I've got a lot of markups on my chart, so it makes it a little bit hard to see. But again, I've got price. It just busted through my cloud, right, on the 4 hour. If I come down to the 1 hour, hit my refresh down here, it gets a little bit messy, but you can see price. Here's my cloud, right? Price busted through my cloud for a buy move or a long move, and it's setting right up in this area right now, just above an R2 area. I've got buyers in the market, and I've got some buy stops and sell stop orders set, and we'll talk about those on lower time frame. And of course, coming down here to the 1 minute, I'm sorry, the 15 minute. If you'll notice on the 15 minute, coming all the way back here to 7:15 yesterday morning, buyers were in the market like crazy. Now, I went in because I just watched trends, and I'm going to explain these. I set me some sell stop orders, set me one here, set me one here, set me one here, because typically price, when it does this, just like I showed you earlier in that zone, it comes back down this way, right? It's gonna come back down this way. When it's gonna come back down, I don't know, but I've got my trap set, as I call them, my sell stop trap set. That I made those terms up. I don't know if anybody else uses them, but that's what I use to make sense in my head. So if you're just one of those guys that just has to be mathematically or absolutely correct about how you call stuff, then that's on you. So this is your lagging span. This is your cloud. This is my EMAs, right? I've got my EMAs on here. Typically, when price is above my cloud, it's above my EMA, it's the lagging spans above price. Everything here is telling me that buyers are in the market, right? This is a buying market trend. If I turn on my Fibonacci's pivots, and the way you set these up, you simply go into standard Fibonacci's and then our standard pivots, and then flip them over to Fibonacci's. And I've got them set on dailies right now. I'm not going to go deep into that, but this is everything here telling me that buyers in the market. I set a buy stop order here, and the reason I do these is just in case I happen to get up and go to the bathroom or get a cup of coffee or do something like that, and price decides that it wants to do this number, I can catch this. And of course, I'm gonna have my phone with me. I am just a big advocate of when there's money on the table, take it and run, right? Sometimes it'll run up. It may come up here and it may do this and it may do that. It may just come up halfway here. If there's enough money there, I'm just going to take my money and run. I have a daily goal of $1,000 a day. I use 2 accounts. I have a live account and a demo account. And if I'm going to do something completely out of the norm than I would usually do, I'll practice it on a demo account first. The strategies that I typically do most recently are stuff that I do over and over and over and over. Now, I'm going to stay on this 15-minute chart here for just a minute looking at these pivots. I know when I'm looking at Fibonacci pivots, right, when I'm looking at the fibs in these areas, I typically know that if price is at 1 here, for example, it's hovering around my R2, it's either going to break here when it gets about a third of the way up, especially if we get a large candle. We're going to see what's going to happen here at 8:30, the bottom of the hour. It may just spike. When it spikes, I'm going to get on my phone and I'm going to be ready for that spike. And when it starts to slow down just a little bit, I'm going to close that bad boy out. So I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready for that spike if it jumps through my price zone. If it activates here and jumps that way, it is above my R2. So the chances of it turning, it might spike. A bunch of sellers might jump in and try to take some of this equity back. They might do a big sell. It might run down this way into this zone. Either way, we got to be ready for some scalping, quick action moves on our phone to be able to take advantage of some of that stuff when it happens, to make sure that we can grab as much equity as we can. And of course, you need to have your daily goal set up, whatever your daily goal is. $25. I started out with $25. My first goal was I need to make $25 consistently every day. And I think I did that for 90 days, right? It's like I need to make $25 consistently every day. And then I think I bumped it to like, once I got really good at that, I think I bumped it to like $400. So I'm going to see if I can do $400. And a lot of that has to do with doing exactly the same stuff, just adjusting your lot size a little bit. So this move on a lot size 0.05, depending on your balance, is going to be less money than on a 0.1 lot size on a larger balance, right? So it just depends on your lot size. You don't have to change your strategy. A lot of times you just have to change your lot size based on your balance, to make sure that you don't go. When you're scalping, you do not set stop losses when you're scalping, because you're opening and closing. You don't have time enough to go in and hit and execute, hit a stop loss, so on and so forth. It takes a little bit of work. That's too fast. You're simply going to execute the trade. You're going to open it. You're going to wait, and you're going to hit the close button and close it and take the money and run. That's scalping. Now, if you're doing something long term, maybe price jumps off into this way, and I know it's running, and I haven't set a buy stop order, I may go in and set a take profit, may hit a modify on a trade and hit a take profit area and set it and just let it run through, so it'll grab the take profit. Again, there's several different ways that you can do that when you're operating in this zone. Let me blow this up. Can you guys see this okay, everybody? Audience, crew, Brian, Heath.
Yep, you're good.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. So I'm going to go down to the 5 minute. 5 minutes of fun scalping time frame. I was watching a guy on YouTube do some scalping stuff, and he scalps on the 5 minute, and he runs a 5 minute. Whatever you like to practice and whatever you feel good and comfortable at, just practice it a lot till you just figure out the dance. It's like martial arts, right? You've got to get in the ring and practice, take a few punches, get kicked to the head a couple of times. And once you figure it out, it's pretty easy. We know just looking at this chart, right, with the exception of my MACD down here, right? We haven't even talked about my MACD. Everything in the zone, if you would have jumped in this trade at 3 o'clock this morning and just let this bad boy run up from the R1 to the R2, But I made a nice little bit of money here. But I wasn't awake here. I didn't set a buy stop order on that last night before I went to bed. If I would have, I would have woke up to some cash this morning, which would have been fine with me. I've got one set up here in my upper zone. So he was talking about 5-minute scalping. As you can see, I've got my timer over here on the outside, and it tells me I just went into another 5-minute candle. To me, it's scalping. That's like forever. Like, right? That's going to take a long time. Let's jump down to the 1 minute and see how the 1 minute looks. Hit a refresh here. Come up here. And this gives you a completely different look. Very, very similar. I've got still in a buyer's cloud here. I've still got price hovering above my EMA. I've still got my lagging span way out here. And I've got my other lagging span down here. Everything's pointing north. My MACD just told me a bunch of buyers are trying to jump in the market. Also on my MACD down here, right? On my MACD down here, I've got way above my zero line where price is at, right? We had a few sellers try to jump in the market, but you can see even with the sellers on this range, they were very, very small candles, right? I believe the cloud is one of the best indicators. The cloud helps. It definitely, I don't use it all the time because a lot of times you get too many indicators on your chart. Thanks, Vlad. Appreciate that. Get too many indicators on your chart. It's like, do I get in or do I get out? Do I get in or do I get out? What should I do? But yeah, the cloud is definitely a good indicator in an overall trend move of helping decide whether or not you're more in a ranging price accumulation mode, or if you're actually in a long or a buying trend or a selling trend. We know that for sure that if this is going to be a selling market here, price would need to be below my cloud, right? If I take my cloud off and I'm not using my cloud, then I'm just looking at my EMAs. My buddy Aaron, he talks about what he calls between the sheets. In other words, that would be a price move that would go from this EMA to this EMA where price would take off and set this in on larger time frames. If you've got a large gap between these two, you can set an order, right? You can set a buy order or sell order in between those two. And like, I'm conservative. I never go completely to one. From one, I always like give myself a little range for candles to break inside of those. Some people might set up a breakout box or whatever on those. If I switch over, now here's where it's really fun. Switch over to my Heikin-Achi candles, right? Switch over to my Heikin-Achi candles. They're a really good trend indicator as well. If I come back here to my cloud and I turn that on, basically this tells me buyers. Heikin-Achi candles are pretty cool because they tell you when a trend, they can give you a general idea when a trend is trading. We still got a lot of manipulation going on. For example, if this candle here breaks below this EMA and starts heading this way, specifically if it breaks below here. Now I'm scalping, right? I can miss out some money on this move, but I'm not going to do anything on that. Where's my Fibonacci at? Hit refresh real quick. Must be way above it here. Yep, there it is, way down there. So typically if this candle breaks this cloud and comes this way, and if it breaks this other EMA, it's going to come all the way down in here somewhere, then hover and hang out, and it may just bust and take for a run in this direction. We're going to see what's going to happen at 8:30. Again, we got a lot of smaller candles to mess with in here. I'm going to clear this cloud out of here because I don't like trading with the cloud on. I'm going to hit refresh. And I'm just going to sit up here and wait to see where candles are going to break. And again, we're typically right now on this 1 minute time frame running in a buyer's or in a long position in terms of everything is moving upwards. Keep the cloud on there. You can see where everything is at. My lagging span is starting to get into price, which means it's a pretty good chance that sellers are going to jump in here. They might be trying to anticipate the 8:30. So I'm going to get on my phone over here, make sure my phone is ready to go. Let me come back here and just refresh it so it doesn't stall out and freeze up. So we're ready to go. Come on, US 30. Let's be nice. Get over here. Got my market execution set up on my phone. Getting ready to pull that trigger for the 8:30 move. And you've got to be super, super fast in this move. I'm looking at my MACD. If you'll notice that MACD just crossed which means sellers are trying to jump back in the market. And you can see the cross here, see where sellers jumped in the market, but I'm looking for some definitive candles here. I just hit a 45-second candle here. My Heikinachi candle hasn't broken below this Heikinachi candle, which means it's stalling out. If I switch over to traditional, that means there's some buyers in there, right? See that? So some buyers are jumping in that market, and I'd really be waiting for candles to jump below here before I hit an execute, because it might be a fake out where it says and then goes this way, and you'll end up in some drawdown. Here's the fun thing about going into drawdown on US 30. You've got to understand your tolerances. You need to know how much is an acceptable loss. Now, if you have a big fat balance, right, and you can go into quite a bit of drawdown for a while, because we know that US 30 is going to come back this direction. We've got some US 30. We've got some news coming out tomorrow. There's no real news today other than there's something happening at 9 o'clock for existing home sales, right? Again, we're dealing with the US 30, and we know that the US 30 is known as the Dow Jones Average, is a stock market index that measures the stock performance of 30 large blue chip companies trading on the New York Stock Exchange. So you might want to go in and just take a look at what those are, so you know what you're trading, to get a general idea if existing home sales would impact any of those 30 in that market, right? Just to give you a general idea. The more you learn about the pair that you're trading, the same thing with gold. We know that gold has a tendency to directly respond to the US dollar, in terms of if the dollar is going up, gold is going down, right? And vice versa. If the dollar is going down, gold is going up. Right now, the dollar is heading in a downward trend, right? I've got a line graph on there. The dollar is heading in a downward trend, and gold most likely will be, and it doesn't happen immediately, gold will probably start to turn and go in an upward trend. And those that you just saw, those are called line charts versus candles on those two, and it just gives you, again, an overall trend. So this is moving this direction here, trying to anticipate that 830 move, right? Heading back down to my pivot here. Lagging span is just below my price now, which means sellers are trying to get into the market, right? So we've got this move here. And we can wait, right? Again, as Aaron Shepard says, sometimes you just have to wait to see where price is going. The money is always going to be there. Don't force a trade, right? It's like, oh, I got to get this trade. Just be patient. The money is going to be there. You might have to wait until 8:45 or 9:15 or sometime around lunch. Pick out the time that you want to trade and trade. Set your orders in here so you can catch the money depending on where it's going to go. I'm probably most likely going to set a sell order down in this area to catch some money if it blows below this EMA, right? So again, just waiting for it to work through the cloud. Lagging span is in price, which means I'm not trading daily. Again, that's a rule. You've got to make up your rules and figure those out. Typically, if price is below my cloud, my EMA is below my cloud, lagging span is below my cloud, I'm in a selling market, right? Selling indicators. Again, indicators help you make decisions, but they shouldn't be the exclusive decision maker. You've also got to look at everything else that's going on in the market. See that price is bouncing off the cloud right here. It's bouncing off this cloud. That's going to come up to the EMA, and then it's going to come back down here. It's going to try to push through the cloud. If it does, you see the lagging span is over here. Lagging span is over here, still in the price, right? Doing a lot of fighting in this area. The best way to figure out stuff is if you're on a demo account, hit a button, hit a buy, hit a sell, and see what happens, and sit there and just watch it, right? Watch your chart, watch getting in and out, and just practice those punches, practice those blocks, practice those counter moves, so that you know that you have I'm looking at TradingView, I'm looking at US 30. This is what's happening. I'm entering this. Now, if you're using MetaTrader 4 on your desktop and you're using that to evaluate an entry on a trade, that's absolutely fine. Or getting ready to jump in here to this 830 this, you got to be fast on this, because a lot of times it moves so quickly. You'll think there's a sell candle, you hit the sell, and it'll turn around. The buyers will be right back in the market, and you'll be caught in the drawdown, which again is okay. If you go ahead after that drawdown, you go ahead and set yourself and modify that trade to a take profit. So once it passes that lower spot, then you're going to come back and get that money and liquidity and grab that. So we're going to see what's going to happen here. Let's watch this candle. We just hit the 27-second candle. We're coming to the bottom of the hour here in about 5 minutes. Here, we're going to see what's going to happen. If it makes a really big move, it may not, right? We may see our biggest candle, maybe something like this one here, just in and out very quickly. Again, I've got my Fibonacci pivot right here. So if it busts and it breaks all the way below this, I would be surprised. It's probably going to come here and bounce and then turn around and come back. So you've got to be very, very quick. You may or may not even want to take a trade. Just wait to see where it goes. I would most likely just wait to see if it's going to come down here and just hang out and wait. It's your fingers, it's your money. Practice and see what happens. My MACD is telling me I've got a lot of sellers in the market. Somebody probably already entered a trade here, which if you're in profit and you're still in profit right now and that trade is open, you might want to go ahead and close that bad boy and take the money and run, because it may come back down here. It may bounce off of this area and take back off this way. We're going to see what happens. Again, each one of these Fibonacci's sort of acts as a mini zone inside the big zone. And when you understand how these pivots work in relationship to price, they seem to be a magnet. Your EMAs are magnets. Your clouds are magnets. They hang around this stuff, and they seem to always come back in this. I've still got a buyer's cloud here. The mouth of my cloud is closing, which means it's trying to bring sellers. See, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right? Which means it's trying to break through this cloud. It's trying to come up with more sellers. If this takes a spike and goes this direction, this may turn and go this direction. I may be able to grab me a nice sell in terms of watching this morning. And don't force your trades. Don't force your trades. Don't force your trades. Have your daily goal of what your income goal is going to be for the day. If you don't hit it, that's absolutely okay. For example, I did my entire weekly goal yesterday, and I didn't even sit in front of the chart. Pretty amazing, right? Had a really good day. I hit my entire week because I set up my sell stop orders the night before, and I did it all in literally in the morning time. I woke up and it was good. I was good to go. So when you figure out how to do this stuff, that's why the US 30 scalping bootcamp is going to be a lot of fun, because I'm going to show you how to do that, and it's going to take practice. We're going to do that on the US 30 bootcamp here starting on April 2nd. Some of the stuff we're talking about here today, you may or may not see me every Tuesday up here. But mainly over the next couple of days, I just want to get for anybody that wants to jump in on that and position themselves to learn how to use the US 30 to make them some money. It's cool. And however much money you want to make, it's up to you. You might want to just do $100 a day. That's $500 a week extra coming in your household. If you can figure out that strategy, it can literally change the economy of your life. You might want to do $5,000 a day. It's the same exact strategy. You're just working with bigger money and larger lot sizes, right? So there goes a candle break. See how I didn't get below my cloud? There goes a lagging span, trying to push back up. I'm going to watch for my next candle. I'm on 9 seconds. I'm coming towards the bottom of the hour, right? Now, this is a little bit of manipulation getting ready to happen, right? See the sellers jumping back in there? They're like, no, dude, that's not happening. I don't know if it's sort of like passing a football back and forth across the trading floor. Like, here, catch this, and they lob the ball, and somebody grabs it and runs with it. There goes that big candle. Now, this is going to be the test. Is it going to go? Is it going to go, or is it going to break? Watch that countdown timer over on the right-hand side. Look at my MACD on the bottom. I've got buyers trying to jump in the market. My next candle may determine where I'm going, right? The next candle may determine where I'm going. And it's pulling back just a little bit. So if you open that trade, you might be in drawdown right now. And if you are in drawdown and you're worried about it, come and modify your trade instead of take profit like at 32,566 or something, right? Just wait. Got 2 seconds on this candle. We'll see where this next one breaks. Is it going to break for a buy? or is it going to go into a sell candle? Right. And I just grabbed that buy candle. I'm going to come over here. It's probably going to go into a little bit of drawdown here for a minute. And I'm just going to wait. Grab me some profit here. Ooh, let's move that. Bam. There we go. Just grabbed 120 bucks on that one. All right. And that cloud is running. It's running right up to my next zone here. We're going to see it's going to run all the way to R3. Right. We'll see what happens. If you didn't close that trade, you're going to be in some serious drawdown right now. But I got a lot of indicators telling me I've got buyers in the market. It's 8:30. A lot of manipulation going on. Right. A lot of manipulation going on. It looks like the sellers are coming back. Whew. Glad I closed that one quick, right? Now I've got my buyers trying to jump back in the market. In a situation like this, I'm waiting until price gets above this wick before I do anything, right? Because there's too much craziness going on right now. Could enter this one, you might grab some, but you're going to end up in a lot of drawdown in that situation. You see my cloud over here is turning sideways, right? My cloud is going sideways. Got a lot of MACD going on here. Again, my candle, this price area here is not breaking above this wick here. So I'm just going to wait. This is practice. I just learned this because I went to class and I practiced. And I went to class and I practiced. And I went to class and I practiced. I just know from this area here, from this zone, there's 3 directions this can go. It can go sideways in consolidation. It can come back down here. But I know before I'm entering anything in my trade, you'll notice where I set my entry spot for my buy stop was up above a third. I know just out of practice. Not saying this to brag. When you practice, you figure this stuff out, right? It's you get on the mat, you get kicked in the head several times, you push the buttons, you do your punches and your kicks and your down blocks and your up blocks and your side blocks and your elbow thrusts and all that kind of stuff, and you figure it out, right? Right now, again, who's in the drawdown right now because they didn't close their trade quick enough? Just be honest. Just raise your hand like me, right? I'm gonna wait to see if I get a candle that breaks hard above this wick here, it's gonna enter. It's gonna open my enter, and it may come up and do this here. But I'm gonna grab me some money this morning, and I'm just gonna wait and see what happens here. And I got a lot of craziness going on. And it's going to push. Let's see if it pushes above that wick. Got sellers trying to jump back in and take some of the money back. And if you go to a larger candle and go to Heikin-Nachis, it's all going to just be one big green candle, right? Look at my cloud over here. My cloud's going flat, which means I may end up just rolling along this way for a little bit. We need some music, right? Play music. Unfortunately, we get kicked off of Facebook. That's so crazy. I know if I was an artist, I'd want to make sure that everybody played my music on every channel possibly, without having to worry about copyright stuff, because the more people play their music, the more people want to go buy the whole album, right? In most cases. Look at that MACD. Look at the MACD. Look at where I'm at. I just busted that MACD. Buyers are trying to come in the market, although we've got some selling candles jumping in here. Yeah, my MACD's having some fun down here. And there are some people that probably scalp different than me that have probably gone in and made $1 billion already because they're just opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing. If that's you, fine. That's your style. I'm pretty conservative. The money's not going anywhere. It'll be back tomorrow, right? God willing that I'm still on this planet, driving towards my purpose to help people make money, right? It sucks to grow up poor, and I know if there's somebody out there we can impact that can learn this skill or figure out how to put themselves in front of money any kind of which way or another, it might be able to change their life. So it's all good. Big selling candle jumping back in here. Sellers are jumping back in the market. And my chandelier just kicked in and said sellers are coming in. You'll see how my MACD turned down here. My MACD is turning, right? There's some traders that do, like they call them dot-to-dot trading. Yeah, I don't know about that, where you open a trade here on this dot and then close it on the green dot. But if you're looking at these candles, you probably would have just been, I don't know if there would have been any money made in that or not. I guess it depends on the time frame. Huge sell candle there. We'll see where the next one breaks. It's all coming back. It's going to come down to my Fibonacci here, and it's going to hang out. Broke below my cloud. We'll see where this next candle breaks. Because here's my next zone right here. So you notice it came down to my Fibonacci and just sort of stalled out. It broke through the cloud, but again, it stalled out. I got my lagging span is in my price. Let me hit a refresh on this. There we go. And you see I got my seller's dot here on my MACD. Now, if price does break through this Fibonacci and below this EMA, there's a pretty good chance it's going to run down through this zone here. So I could do some fun stuff like go out and set me a trap here. Do something like this, right? Come in and set that bad boy up. Let me come back over here. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to set a sell stop order right there. Sell stop. 32,473 per entry. 473. Take profit 32,419. 32,419. Where's my stop loss at? 32,492. Ooh, that's pretty big. Right down there like that. 32,481. All right. All right, so now we're just waiting. Let me put my note on that. Set sell stop order 8:35 a.m. on 3/21/23. I just put notes on there so I can see if this doesn't hit this today. I can come back and see if I still want to do it tomorrow or sometime later in the day. Who knows? It might blow through this area later this afternoon when I walk away from my computer. And now we'll just hang out and wait. So that's basically scalping. Like I said, some of the things we talked about today, right? Some of the things we talked about, lagging span. If I'm using the cloud, right? If I'm not using the cloud, right? I've got a couple of other things I can look at. I can look at my MACD, so where pricing's at. Now you've got to be very careful that you don't just enter when there's a red dot here into a sell position, right? You don't want to enter just because this is a sell position. Because look at the size of these candles, right? You might go into drawdown. This came down here. It came right through my zero zone. Then it went into buyers, jumped in the market. But again, we had a huge manipulation candle right here where you may have ended up in drawdown, right? Then we came back and all of this money that was here, these sellers came back and took it all back. And now they're fighting, right? They're doing some kung fu fighting, going back and forth. We're heading along my Fibonacci pivot zone here. It may just consolidate for the rest of the day. Keep an eye on my cloud. I can turn it back on. You see how my cloud is sort of flat, right? So it's just hanging out and just watching this. If you have some trades that are open, go in and modify them to set to close out so that you can take your profit. And make sure you set your take profit above your entry or below your entry, depending on whether or not you got into a sell or a buy position for that. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce. Again, if you want to jump into the US 30 boot camp in April, it's going to start April 2nd, which is a Sunday night. We'll jump in for Sunday. It'll be Sunday at 7:45. We'll go in and just sort of talk about how to set some stuff up. We'll talk about some basic training stuff on Sunday. And then from there, we'll move to the rest of the month. I'll have the link available here a little bit. If you'd like to attend, just shoot me a text message. My phone number scrolling right across the bottom of the screen. It's going to be a whopping $97 one-time fee to come in and hang out with me for roughly the month of April and trade. And we'll talk about some stuff. Got a cool little group that you'll be added into and talk about trading, asking questions, all that kind of stuff. It'll be a lot of fun. And it should be, if you can get in and do this, I'd recommend opening a demo account. If you've never traded US 30 before, open up a demo account, set it at $3,000, whatever broker that you want to use. One of my brokers of choice is Carbon Capital. If you'd like the link to those guys, I'll get you the link for that and get it over so you can go in and set yourself up with a demo account. They've got some really cool training inside their portal as well in terms of how to set up the MetaTrader on your phone, how to go through all that kind of stuff. So got a lot of good stuff in there that can help you out if that's something that you decide to do. Just let me know. Looks like price is getting ready to break through this cloud. I'm going to call it a day. Hopefully you guys have an absolutely awesome Tuesday. I know I am going to. I love you. I appreciate you. Jesus loves you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Have an absolutely wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.